The ruler of hell, King Yama, watched the last grains of time fall as the amassed ghosts and spirits jockeyed beside the gate between the lower realm and Earth. King Yama smiled as he opened the great dimensional portal, unleashing the ghosts of hell onto Earth, signaling day 1 of the 7th lunar month. The 7th lunar month is known as Ghost Month, and this is Legends from the Pacific. Aloha, and thank you for joining us. This is Legends from the Pacific, episode 25, Ghost Month, part 1. I am Kamuela Kaneshiro. This is the first episode of our month-long ghost celebration. Listeners, sign up for our upcoming newsletter at legendsfromthepacific.com to hear the latest about dedicated episodes of my paranormal investigations and experiences, which will be released in the next couple of months. Later in this episode, shoutouts to our fans, your featured song and Hawaiian word, but first, Ghost Month. Imagine if Halloween lasted an entire month. That's kind of Ghost Month, only people are more superstitious and there's less costumes. Many Asian and Pacific cultures consider the 7th lunar month Ghost Month, and it's the most dangerous time of the year. Maybe I should make a parody of the Andy Williams Christmas song. But I digress. Because it follows the lunar calendar, 2020's Ghost Month begins on August 19th and lasts until September 17th. During Ghost Month, ghosts and spirits are released from hell and wander the earth walking amongst us, visiting relatives and getting revenge. But not all ghosts are bad. In fact, some can provide good luck, which is why families go out of their way to provide food to their ancestors and burn things like fake money or ghost money and other paper items as offerings for their deceased relatives. You can also be nice to ghosts you're not related to and ask for their blessing. This is seen in theaters, which keeps the front rows empty for ghosts who may visit their performance. Now, I know you might be thinking, it's silly how something could influence cities. After all, this isn't Comic-Con. But non-believers have stated they go along with things because what's the harm? Also, many respect Ghost Month because it's a cultural period of remembrance and ancestor worship. There are many ways to stay safe during this time, but the main ones are to avoid vacations to beaches or lakes. Water is a strong conductor for ghosts, and spirits who have died violently or drowned remain there, drowning others. During Ghost Month, avoid life-changing events like getting married, start a new job, or make any financial investments, including large purchases. Also, don't stay out late at night. That's when ghosts and spirits are strongest. Now, here's what I feel is interesting about Ghost Month. The origin of this influential celebration is unknown, and records indicated it started pre-Buddha. Seriously, isn't that just a little odd? Still to come, shoutouts to our fans, your featured song and Hawaiian word, but now, a story. The following is a Legends from the Pacific original story and is based on cultural testimony. A crescent moon slipped behind clouds as a college student beat his cousin running to the lake. He prided himself on being the family's most athletic, unlike his scrawny cousin who spent his time reading books. The jock listened to the nocturnal creatures chirping their songs and the whispered music from the open-aired theater miles away. The performance was old, but a Ghost Month favorite. The jock yelled to his cousin that he was getting tired of waiting. The wildlife stopped. Soft crying perked his ears. The jock scanned the area and discovered a young woman crying on a log beside the lake. She wiped her tears with the sleeve of her old-fashioned robe. She saw the jock and screamed. He calmed her down and asked if she was all right. The woman nodded and tucked her long black hair behind her ear. She was beautiful, but timid, like a scared animal. The jock asked why she was alone by the lake. Her eyes watered. He changed the subject by introducing himself. She nodded. He said a pretty woman like her shouldn't cry, motioned to her old-fashioned robe, and asked if she was an actress for one of the old plays. Her eyes widened. You think I'm pretty? He blushed. Well, don't others? She giggled and reached for him. He held her hand. She smiled. Let's go swimming, she said, leading him toward the lake. He bit his lip and worried about the warnings of Ghost Month to stay away from water. She gave him an innocent, pouting look. He followed her and waited for the moment she'd release his hand to disrobe. She stepped into the water. He got impatient and felt she needed encouragement to disrobe. He released her hand. She was confused. He removed his shoes. She giggled. He removed his shirt and pants. She smiled. He reached for her hand. She stepped deeper into the lake. He approached her. She glided into the water. Her robed body slipped underwater. Her neck followed, then her smile, but her eyes loomed on the lake's surface yards from him. Her head submerged, and he dove after her. Air bubbles stopped breaking the lake's surface. The crescent moon emerged from the clouds, and the chirping creatures resumed their song. The out-of-shape cousin reached the lake, called for his relative between panting, but there was no reply. Splashing broke the stillness as the jock surfaced from the lake and coughed. His cousin ran to help him and asked what he was doing in the water. The jock told him about the woman, how she beckoned him into the lake. Then something tried to drown him. The cousin listened and produced a small amulet he wore around his neck. The confused jock looked at his cousin. "What are you doing?" he asked. His cousin shrugged. "It's from my dad. It's supposed to scare away ghosts." The jock looked between the amulet and his cousin. "Is it working?" "I don't know," the cousin said, pressing the amulet against the jock's skin. The jock smirked and got dressed. "Let's go. I'm getting hungry." The two left. Moments later, the lakeside creatures were silenced by the crying of a beautiful woman. Coming up, shoutouts to our fans, your featured song, and Hawaiian word. Listeners, please tell your friends and family about us and repost our shareable social media excerpts to your profile or send them to others. Today, many observe the customs of Ghost Month, which we'll be covering in the next few episodes. Also, water ghosts are very dangerous, and many consider them a serious threat. If you like what you heard, please give us a rating, write a review, and share Legends from the Pacific with your friends and family. I'd really appreciate it. A big mahalo nui loa to you for nominating Legends from the Pacific for the Podcast Awards. We did not qualify for the finals, but I'm still very proud of you for taking the time to nominate us. So, thank you very much. Our theme song is Mystery by Tavana, courtesy of High Sessions. Sound effects are by Sound Effects Factory. Our music coordinator is Matt Duffy, aka DJ TripleBypass. Links and show notes can be found on our website, legendsfromthepacific.com, including a link to your featured song, which is A Psalm Like a Bird by James Hill, courtesy of High Sessions. Legends from the Pacific was written, produced, and edited by me, Kamuela Kaneshiro. I also wrote our original stories. Your featured Hawaiian word is loko. Loko means lake. An example for loko is Jason from Friday the 13th, drowned in Crystal Loco. Once again, loco is Hawaiian for lake. Please do not confuse loco, which is spelled L-O-K-O for lake, and local, spelled L-O-C-A-L, which is something or someone belonging or relating to a particular area. Thank you once again for listening. Mahalo and a hui ho.